Robert, who are you and what do you do?
I'm a actor slash businessman. I own a Harley-Davidson dealership, Harley-Davidson of Santa Clarita.
Have you ever lied in an interview?
Yes.
Did you ever think T-1000 would become that iconic?
Yes, I did. While I was making the film with James Cameron, and once I had gotten the film and understood what the project was going to be, I knew that it was going to be huge. And the fact that we were doing motion capture for the first time, I kind of figured this film's going to be around forever. And it is.
T-1000 lives on in Halloween costumes, your Harley merch, and cameos like Wayne's World. How does it feel to be part of a pop culture history?
It feels great. I think it's, to me, it's the equivalent of winning the Super Bowl or winning the World Series like the Dodgers just did. It's just an unbelievable experience to land such a role like that. And I am so grateful that I got that part because it's given me my entire career.
Have you ever Googled yourself?
Sure.
What's the weirdest rumor you've ever heard about yourself?
The weirdest rumor I've ever heard about myself? Well, I don't know if I've ever read a rumor about myself, but I do know that I have a younger brother that's a rock and roll multi-platinum recording artist, and he and our names get interchanged. I've been credited with writing his music, and he's been credited with being in some of my movies. His name is Richard, my name is Robert.
First time you knew you wanted to act, when was it?
Yes, I did Peter Pan when I was in third grade. And when I did Peter Pan in third grade, I realized that this acting thing is something I wanted to do. I didn't really think about doing it professionally until I failed at a bunch of other things before. It was a last-ditch effort to give my life some sort of purpose. So I packed up my car and headed out of Cleveland, Ohio for Hollywood in 1984.
Who did you idolize as a kid?
Well, I idolized a lot of sports guys, Pete Rose, Hank Aaron. As far as actors, I looked up to Marlon Brando, James Dean, Steve McQueen, all those guys. I didn't know I was going to be a villain until I got to Hollywood.
What was your family's reaction to you becoming an actor?
My family was pretty skeptical, to say the least. I came from a Southern Midwestern family. My father had a degree from MIT. He wanted me to do something secure. Obviously, I didn't want to do anything secure because I kept quitting jobs. So when I went and said I'm going to try to do acting and pursue it as a career, he was very skeptical and actually, kind of afraid for me. So I can't say that they were really behind my decision.
One person who changed the course of your career.
Stephen Bridgewater, an acting coach that I've worked with over the years, helped me at a pivotal point in my career where I did The Sopranos as a result of working with him. He suggested that I do The Sopranos when David Chase offered me the role. And that one really opened me up to, I think, Hollywood, even larger than Terminator 2 did. It made directors see me in a different light because it was such a pathetic character that got bitch slapped around by Jimmy Gandolfini.
What's one thing your younger self would never believe about your life now?
Well, that it's all worked out the way I envisioned it, I think. If I could say anything to my younger self, it would be, man, am I glad you had the balls to come out here and give this a try.
Let's talk motorcycles.
Yes, let's talk motorcycles. Specifically, let's talk Harley-Davidson.
What was your first bike, and do you still have it?
I'm sad to admit that my first bike was a Yamaha Midnight Special. I bought it because it was cheap, and it kind of looked like a Harley-Davidson. I also bought it because a girl dumped me, and I don't know, something in me just rebelled. And I bought it and rode it around, and I had a great time riding it in Cleveland, Ohio, and it just changed me. I think it changed my whole persona. I got my first Harley after I did Terminator 2. I bought a used Harley, and that's what introduced me to Glendale Harley and my future business partner, Oliver Shoku. Oliver owns Glendale Harley Davidson, and he's the creator, the founder of the Love Ride. So that first bike was my ticket into all sorts of adventures and meeting all sorts of new people in my life. Met some amazing people riding on Harleys.
What's your all-time favorite ride or route?
My all-time favorite ride and route is going across America. I just zigzag all over America. I've been all over this country. I must have done, in the last 19 years, I've gone across coast to coast, north and south, east and west, at least, I would say, conservatively 25 times. And I just love the open road. I love being out there. I love the changing horizon. I love the freedom I get. I love the meditative kind of Zen state that I get in as I'm out there. It's also very romanticized, sort of mythical kind of a thing when you're out there, especially if you're out there by yourself. You just chart your own route and go. There's nothing like it. You can't, even if you ride in a car going across America, it's not the same as when you're on a motorcycle.
What's your must-play song when you hit the road?
Ooh, there's so many. I think Freebird, Leonard Skinner, is definitely one of my all-time favorites. I also really enjoy Jackal, the band Jackal, Jesse James Dupree. The Lumberjack song is another one of my favorites. Springsteen's Born to Run, that's heavy on my playlist. There's so many. ZZ Top. A lot of Kiss. I listen to a lot of Kiss, especially I just want to rock and roll all night and party every day.
Describe the Harley community in one word.
The Harley community in one word is adventurous people that enjoy being out on the open road. They enjoy the camaraderie of riding motorcycles because it's such a specific sort of sport. They are charitable. They're always looking for a reason to ride. And with the Love Ride, we've given them a reason to ride. We're raising money for Wounded Warriors this year. The Love Ride, November 9th, here from Glendale Harley Davidson all the way out to Lake Castaic. And we have the Gene Simmons Band. Gene Simmons, of course, of Kiss, playing, and we'll be raising money for Wounded Warriors. And over the years, as I've ridden my motorcycle, most of the time when I'm riding cross country, I'm doing it for the veterans. I ride with a Vietnam vet across America to Washington, D.C., which is my favorite city in the country to go to. We do a thing called Rolling Thunder there, Ride to the Wall, and we bring attention to the POW MIA issue for Rolling Thunder. And that's something that I think is very specific to the Harley-Davidson community. For years, Harley-Davidson has gone to war with our veterans in World War I and World War II. And as a result, these veterans have come back and they've taken these bikes and they use them to demonstrate. And in the case of Rolling Thunder, they ride to Washington, D.C., they crack the motor, and they demonstrated for the POWMIA issue, which I think is very unique to the motorcycle Harley-Davidson culture. And Harley-Davidson as a motor company has always been behind the veterans. So a very unique adventure-seeking group of people. And I think they're the best in the country.
What makes Love Ride 34 special this year?
Love Ride 34 is special this year because it's the first Love Ride back since we've had COVID. My partner, Oliver Shoku, who created the Love Ride, has done it for 32 years prior and raised $25 million for different charities over the years. It's been muscular dystrophy, it's been the USO, it's been Wounded Warriors, it's been Arts for Kids, it's been literacy for kids, Reading by 9, and he's taken he's given the riders the reason to go out and raise money for these charities. So Oliver's been doing it for 32 years. The last time we did it, we had the Foo Fighters was the 32nd one. We had Dave Grohl and the Foo Fighters. And then we did an abbreviated version, which was Love Ride 33, which was Dave Grohl, just himself, cooking backbeat barbecue, and we had a band called Chevy Metal. Chevy Metal is playing this Sunday, November 9th, right before Gene Simmons, and they'll be joined by Gilby Clarke, Jesse James Dupree from Jackal, Robbie Krieger from The Doors, I want to say Ricky Rockman, and Kenny Arnoff, the drummer, will be with Chevy Metal, and they'll go on right before the Gene Simmons Band.
What's the one thing you want newcomers to feel at Love Ride 34?
I want them to feel the love. I think we could all use some love right now, and I think that's what the Love Ride is about, and I think that's what Oliver's intention was with the Love Ride when he came up with it. Originally, it was started back in the 70s, and he had David Crosby was a customer of Oliver Shoku's at Glendale Harley, and he just sort of said offhandedly to David, you know, we ought to get together, throw a concert, and raise some money for a charity. And that's how it started. So it all started with love, that was the intention behind it, and let the Harley-Davidson bikers community share that love with the community.
How does it feel seeing that sea of bikes roll out together?
Well, it's an incredible feeling to roll out at Glendale Harley. We all gather down there, and we all gather in on the stage. We greet all the riders that have come in from all over the world. People fly in from all over the world and rent a bike and come down to Glendale Harley to ride. And there they're greeted by Jay Leno, who's been the MC since way back when. Jay has been very generous, and Jay leads us out. And then you've got a pack of thousands of motorcycles behind you coming out of Glendale, going up the 5 and riding the 5 all the way up to Lake Castaic. And it's an unbelievable feeling to have that large of a group riding down the road, knowing that we're going to get there and we're going to party at Lake Castaic.
Any morning routines on ride day?
Yes, check the weather. That's the first thing I do. Make sure I have rain gear, make sure my tire pressure's good, my tank's full. If the bike's dirty, that's okay, because I ride it so much. And then make sure I got some, treats of some sorts, maybe a Cliff Bar or something like that, and some extra water, just while we're waiting to stage and leave Glendale Harley. And some cigars. Cigars are crucial.
Biggest right place, right time moment you've had?
Wow. That's a good question. Biggest right time, right place. You know, I'll go back to T2. I think I was in the right place at the right time. I'll tell you a funny story too. Well, it's not that funny, actually. It's sort of, it's rude of me to say that it's funny, because I'm gonna give you a little story here. You know, before I got cast as the T-1000, there was another actor who was set to play the part, and his name was Billy Idol. And Billy was the first T-1000. Coincidentally, Billy was riding a Harley-Davidson, and he had an accident, which prohibited him from running and walking, and he couldn't do the movie. And it created the opportunity for this unknown actor. And I got the part, and now I sell Harley-Davidsons. Coincidence.
Do you think playing a villain changed your
I'm
career?
so sorry, Billy. I love you and I respect you, man. And thank you. And I've seen Billy since this, and he said you did a great job. So I don't feel so bad about telling that story. What was that question, Bella?
Do you think playing a villain changed your career path?
Yeah, I think originally when I came out to Hollywood, I wanted to, like I said, I wanted to, I wanted to, like, John Wayne was another guy that I really looked up to. He was an idol. And I thought I'd have a shot at a romantic lead, kind of a, leading man opportunity. That's really what I was gunning for when I came to Hollywood. I didn't realize that when you are an unknown and you break into the industry and you're introduced to the universe as a villain, you're going to be stuck as a villain. So one of my my personal favorite characters, and I know you're going to ask me this, Bella, what is my personal favorite character that I played? And of course it's John Doggett for the Fox hit show, maybe you've heard of it, The X-Files.
You played Jeremiah Dunmire in Tulsa King.
Yes.
What drew you to this role?
Taylor Sheridan. I had done 1923 with Harrison Ford, another one of my guys that I looked up to, heroes. And I was Sheriff McDowell on 1923 with Harrison Ford, and that's a Taylor Sheridan written show, and Taylor Sheridan is the creator of Tulsa King. The other thing that drew me to Tulsa King was my buddy Sylvester Stallone, who is another one of my heroes. You're getting a theme here. I've worked with a lot of my heroes, like Schwarzenegger and Stallone, but that was one of the main reasons. And Jeremiah Dunmire is a really rich character, and of all the villains I've done, he might be one of my favorites. He's really edging up there towards the top. It's a very complex character, and I certainly enjoyed working with Sylvester Stallone for the third time.
You've had some legendary co-stars. Any behind-the-scenes moments you can share?
Legendary. Well, I'll tell you a funny story about working with Clint Eastwood, another one of my favorite people that I failed to mention it when you asked me that. I got to do 2 movies with Clint Eastwood. One, I was an actor. He was the director. It was Flags of Our Fathers. And I played the colonel of the United States Marine Corps that gave the order to put the flag up on top of Mount Suribachi, which was that famous photograph that was used to raise war bonds in World War II. The second film, that I did with Clint Eastwood, he was an actor, and that film is called Trouble with the Curve. It was me, Justin Timberlake, John Goodman, Amy Adams, Matthew Lillard, and I played the general manager of the Atlanta Braves, and Clint was one of my scouts. And while we were filming a scene, there was a scene where I said, hey, what about you, Gus? You want an extension on your contract? There was something about the way I said that. He started giggling and laughing like I've never seen anybody laugh and giggle. And it was amazing to me because here he is, he's Clint Eastwood, and now he can't keep a straight face while we're doing the take. And we did the take over and over, and every time we did it, he started laughing. I mean, he was laughing so bad he was crying. And the crew and his people around me said, we haven't seen him laugh like this in 25 years. That was a funny behind the scenes moment, and I'm grateful I was the guy that made him laugh so much. I still don't know what he was laughing about, though.
You've played some iconic characters. Name your top 3 favorite of all time.
John Doggett. I don't know if this character was iconic, but I'm going to say it. But it was Cave Gallo that I did for a CBS show called Scorpion. Was my second favorite. And then I think my third favorite, and those 2 are good guys, my third favorite would have to be Terminator 2, T-1000. Because really, my whole career, like I said, is based on that film.
Any famous roles you turned down?
Not that I can think of that I turned down. There was one film that got away from me that I really wanted to do that was later done by another actor, and it just came out recently, and I was really, really gutted that I lost that role. And I lost it. The movie was financed, and the financing fell through. And then 3 or 4 years later, they got the financing, and they made the movie without me.
Craziest stunt you've ever done?
Bella.
Yes.
The craziest stunt I've ever done. On the show Scorpion, they had me 275 feet up in the air on a dam out in the Atwater Village area, maybe Glendale area. I can't remember that, San Pedro Dam or something like that. Old dam that was built, 275 feet up in the air, crane with a practical harness, which when you say practical, you mean it's a part of the story. So it's not like we're concealing it from you that I'm gonna be picked here. And my character, Cave Gallo, was lowered down over the side of this dam, and I had to run around on this dam and patch concrete with this, because the dam was cracking and the whole town was gonna be devastated by this flood if I didn't do this. And I was the only one that was able to do it of the team from Scorpion. That was the craziest stunt I've ever done in my life, and I was, I think at the time, maybe 58 years old, and there I am on a pick. And the stunt coordinator told me about it like 2 or 3 weeks in advance. He said, "You're gonna be fine with this, right?" And I said, "Sure, yeah." And that morning, 3 weeks later, I said to my wife, "Hey, they're gonna hang me off a dam 275 feet where they're gonna put a pick on me, and I'm gonna have to drop down and do this whole thing." And she said, when is that? And I said, "Today." She said, "Oh, I'm coming to watch." And then she wrote in with me, and she made a phone call to my business manager, funny enough, and she said, "His life insurance policies are all square, right?" And the business manager, Bernie, said, "Oh yeah, we're all up to date."
Do you still do your own stunts?
You know, I try to do as many stunts as I can. I really do. I've had a recent injury that has slowed me down a little bit. I blew my ACL. I fell off a step ladder while I was putting up Christmas lights. And that's hindered my running. So, yeah, I did a fight scene with a very big motion picture star, which hasn't aired yet, but you'll see it soon. And I don't want to give it away because it could be a spoiler.
You play Augie Smith in Peacemaker.
Yes, ma'am.
How do you bring depth to such a vile character?
Well, I'm glad you asked me that question, Bella. James Gunn created that role for me, and he wrote it with me in mind, which was interesting. I think he had seen me on Perry Mason HBO show, and for some reason he thought of me. And it's an extreme role. He's a really bad guy. In the second season, he's a good guy. And I love the juxtaposition of the evil and good guy. It was a really very rewarding role to play, and especially because of the second season.
You worked with John Cena in his very first movie, and then again as his dad on Peacemaker. How has it been seeing him evolve as an actor?
John Cena is amazing. The first film we did with him, I remember, was The Marine, and it was a film that was shot where I was the antagonist, he's the protagonist, obviously. And John was John's the kind of person, he really wants to learn, he wants to know how to do it better. And at the end of every day, he asks everybody, "What could you tell me that I could do to be better at this?" He'd ask anybody, the guy at Craft Services, "How can I be better?" And John is that kind of guy. He is, when the first scene I shot with him on the first season of Peacemaker, we shot it without a rehearsal. James Gunn brought us in, and he shot it. We shot it without a rehearsal, and I was blown away by how big of an improvement I could see with John, how advanced he was, and now he's just amazing. He's just an amazing actor. I'm so happy and so proud of him. I really love John. He's a good guy.
The opening credits for season 1 and 2 of Peacemaker. How were you feeling when you found out you had to dance?
You know, Bella, I didn't really take it serious. And when I showed up for dancing, I hate to admit this about myself, I begrudgingly went to rehearsals. I was like, yeah, whatever. And then I got there, and they really expected me to be able to do the dance, and I sucked. And James Gunn said, "Robert, you're awful. What am I going to do?" And he said, "All right, we're going to come up with something special for you." And so they gave me this little hip thrust thing to do, and I did it, and it was actually pretty cool. So I guess I kind of redeemed myself in the first season. By the time the second season came around, I took it very serious, and I spent a lot of time rehearsing and a lot of time prepping, and I thought I did a really, really good job. Unfortunately, you really can't tell if it's me because I'm wearing this mask, and then I reveal that it's me, and
How
that's
is-
not really me dancing in that suit, I have to be honest. I may have lied about that in another interview.
How has it been working with someone like James Gunn?
James Gunn is incredible. He's a lot of fun to work with. He likes to shoot rehearsals. He likes to throw ideas at you as you're going. He's a great guy. It's a comfortable environment to work in. It's very relaxed, very creative. He loves for you to, improv and ad-lib. I love him. He's just a wonderful guy to work with, and I'm really thrilled that I got to work with him on Peacemaker.
You're a big Dodgers fan. How on edge were you during Saturday's game?
I was so on edge. I was so stressed out. I was in the cigar lounge watching, in the cigar bar, watching with a bunch of my buddies. And I got to tell you, I was jumping up and down like a teenage kid when we won. I mean, it was like I was on the field. We were so stressed out. Dodgers were awesome. I'll tell you a nice, funny story that you're going to love, I hope. I went with Tommy Lasorda to Afghanistan during the Afghanistan-Iraq War. I had the great honor and privilege of being with Tommy as we're going around in Humvees and driving around in the war. And Tommy was a great guy. I had to make sure he was drinking his water and drinking all his water. And I just had a ball hanging out with Tommy Lasorda in Afghanistan, which I think is a pretty unique experience. He was a great guy. One of the most moving experiences of my life, to be honest with you, was at Camp Victory. We walked into Camp Victory. There's this huge rotunda that was the TOC it was the command center for the Iraq War. And we walked in, there's a big rotunda. It's one of Saddam Hussein's old palaces. And as we got in there, we could tell the acoustics were great. And as Tommy leading us in there, we get in there, he could hear the acoustics, and he just stopped. And there was all this activity. It was like, Grand Central Station, all these soldiers and people moving around. And all of a sudden, Tommy just broke out in God Bless America. Everybody stopped. We all sang with him. And I think there was none of us that didn't have a tear in our eyes. Amazing.
If you could relive any moment from the series, which would it be?
The World Series? Any moment, if I could relive any moment from the World Series? Wow, I think maybe Page's catch. I think the Page's catch when Kiki was all turned around, it just kind of, the way the camera was on Kiki and he was looking back for the ball and you didn't think he was going to get it, and all of a sudden Pages runs in and makes the catch. I thought that was just incredible. That, and maybe the play at the plate. When they got the force out at the plate. Whether or not his toe was on there and they were looking at it, they were reviewing it, that was maybe it was Rojas' home run. Or Yamamoto's pitching. I don't know. It was one of the best games I've ever seen.
How have you evolved as an actor with age?
I think, I can tell you, I personally think I've gotten better. I think, I've been acting for 41 years. I started with Roger Corman, the King of the Bee movies, worked my way up to T2, and then I've had just an incredible amount of opportunities, and I think I've gotten better, and I think it takes time, and I think acting is a craft that you continue to learn, and I think the more you do it, the better you get, and the stronger you get, and the more gravitas you have, and the more you can bring to a character. So I think my best years are still ahead of me.
If you could swap lives with one actor for a day, who would it be?
If I could, just one day?
Just one day.
John Wayne, I mean, that's an American actor, icon, that really, he stands the test of time. That would be interesting.
Most underrated project of your career?
Most underrated project of my career. Most underrated project of my career, I would have to say, it's a little movie I did called Last Rampage. I was a bad guy in that, but it was an underrated movie. Maybe Copland is underrated. Copland is kind of a cult hit now, but that was a great movie I did with De Niro, Keitel, Stallone, Ray Liotta, Kathy Moriarty, Michael Rappaport. Man.
What keeps you grounded through fame and success?
Well, I'm a churchgoer, so the Lord keeps me humble. I go every Sunday to St. Thomas the Apostle on Hollywood Boulevard, and I think if you got God in your life, it kind of keeps your feet on the ground.
How has giving back changed how you see success?
Well, I think that's a responsibility of people that are successful or people that can give. I think that having a charitable heart is a big part of being a good citizen. So I think the more that you get, I think the more generous you feel.
What's the secret to a lasting marriage in Hollywood?
Well, you got to get the right person. And lucky for me, my wife Barbara was that perfect person. She believed in me before I was successful. And to have somebody believe in you before you're successful really makes for a lasting marriage. And she's been in my corner the whole way. And if you saw me when I started acting, you would know how far I've come and how big of a leap of faith that was that she believed in me. So I think my wife's had probably the biggest impact on my life.
How do you want people to remember you?
As a guy that worked hard and tried hard to do something and give his life some sort of purpose and help other people.
If they made a film about your life, who plays you?
My son.
What's still on your bucket list?
Well, there's a lot of things for me still to do out there, so I don't know. My bucket list is getting shorter and shorter. You know, I don't know if I have a bucket list anymore, to be honest with you.
What would your final ride song be?
My final ride song, what would that be? My final ride song. My final ride song. Wow. Well, I think I'd probably go back to Midnight Rider, the Allman Brothers.
What's your rating of The Sit?
Ooh, my rating of The Sit. Well, I got to tell you, it's a daunting task to sit here in front of a camera and talk, but thank gosh Bella is right behind there because she's a wonderful host. I rate it a full 10. Do I just sit?